Alright, here we are for the third game with Mardu Pyromancer. Let's see what we can do. We lost the die roll. This hand seems to be pretty good. Turn 1 discard or lightning bolt. Turn 2 dreadbore. Seems great. Opponent mulligans will keep. Super nice when they're on the mulligan. And you have a Thoughtseize effect. Pretty likely we'll Thoughtseize here. Alright, I like going Blood Crypt Thoughtseize here. Blooming Marsh could mean some green-black mid-range deck, which it does. He has no second land. So, knowing that he has no second land, I think it's best to just take the Dark Confidant, because that is the card that could get him back into the game most easily. If he draws land and plays second Dark Confidant, we'll just Lightning Bolt it, or Dreadbore it. But that seems to be the way he gets back in this game. It's unlikely that he just draws 2 or 3 lands off the top without any help. So we'll take a Dark Confidant. If he doesn't draw a land here, he's super behind. If we draw a third land and get this Blood Moon into play with our swamp that we fetched out, we're going to be in a commanding position here. He did draw a second land, so I expect him to cast Dark Confidant. We'll probably fetch Swamp and cast Dreadbore on our turn. Beautiful. So we will play Marsh fetch Swamp, cast Dreadbore. Hopefully he doesn't draw another land. If he doesn't, we get to just land this Blood Moon and lock him out of the game more or less. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it's probably better to keep this Lightning Bolt, and to use this Lightning Bolt on this Dark Confidant in case he does draw a land for Liliana the Veil. That way we have a clean answer to it. So, in that case, we will fetch... Yeah, we're still going to fetch a Swamp here. Because we still want it in play for Blood Moon. So, now we just kind of have to hope he doesn't draw land. If he doesn't, we get to fetch another Swamp, cast Blood Moon. We're just so far ahead. Yeah, I just should have kept this uncracked in the main phase. Oh, he drew a Inquisition. That's very good for him. He gets to play this game and not get destroyed by Blood Moon. Unfortunate, but nothing we can do about it. Here we're going to fetch white, cast Lingering Souls, and that should be pretty crushing for the Gen deck. Like, if he draws land, he can play Liliana, but he can't really make headway with it. We can just discard a land, so that's fine. Next turn we flash it back, and you'd have to draw a Maelstrom Pulse to really effectively get out of this situation. Wow, he does draw land. So he's going to tick up. We're going to discard Swamp, or discard Mountain rather, and we're going to Dreadbore and attack for 2. Oh, he sacks a creature. Wow. That's super aggressive. That's very aggressive. Okay, if that's the case, that changes our plans here. Instead, we're going to attack this with the Spirit into Liliana of the Veil and cast Pyromancer followed by Lingering Souls. So let's attack. He's been very lucky and very fortunate to draw lands this game, or else he would have just been blown out in many spots. Lingering Souls. Even so, these 2 Bloodbraid Elves that he has in hand are going to have to do a lot of work for him to stay in this game. Cast a Lightning Bolt. That's not really going to do it here. Yeah, this is great. We have Thoughtseize into Kolaghan's Command to make him discard the remaining 2 cards. So we will do that because we don't want him to be able to cast these Bloodbraid Elves ever. So let's do that. Don't really think there's a time we could get more value here. And yeah, we're gonna return our young Pyromancer. So we eliminate both of the Bloodbraid Elves from his hand. He's completely drawing up the top of his deck, and he scoops it up. Alright. Versus Jund. So, versus Jund mid-range, we're going to want to have all the grindy cards that we can possibly have. We don't have that many grindy cards in our sideboard. I like Smuggler's Copter here. We could bring in Nihil Spellbomb as a way to shrink his Tarmogoyf and slow down his clock. I think that's pretty reasonable. No, that doesn't seem that good, actually. It doesn't seem that very good. Smuggler's Copter is a pretty good value engine. So we're going to bring that in here. We don't have a whole lot versus Jund. We could potentially bring in Molten Rain as like a way to slow down his mana. But that doesn't seem particularly effective. It might actually be better than having Blood Moon in. Blood Moon is a card once he knows we have. He can play around fairly effectively. So I think we will decide to bring in a couple Molten Rains instead of the Blood Moon. There also is some merits to cutting Faithless Looting in this matchup because it's card disadvantage and when you cast it from your hand. So that is something we could consider, but I don't think it's that necessary to cut at this moment. So we'll split the deck. We're going to expect he brings in some Graveyard Hate to power down our Bedlam Revelers, but we're just going to have to keep them in for right now. Not 100% confident on the sideboarding plan, but that's alright. This hand is pretty weak. It's got 4 lands. It's very vulnerable to a discard spell. So we're going to mulligan it. Hope to have more action. This hand is much better. So we'll keep this. Molten Rain, huh? Well, I don't think this is what we want here. I think we're going to want to draw some other grindy card or land before this. Alright, I think it's best to start off with the Thoughtseize here. Take whatever his turn 2 play is going to be, especially considering we don't have an easy removal spell for Dark Confidant. So that's what we're going to do. And for that matter, we don't have an easy removal spell for Tarmogoyf either. This is an interesting position here because Liliana, the Last Hope, as well as Tarmogoyf are both going to be very annoying for us. The question is which one will be more annoying. Which one will be more annoying? Both of these cards, yeah, are pretty problematic. I think we have to take the Liliana because it's going to provide him just a lot more value in the late game. And we're just going to have to hope to deal with Tarmogoyf in some other fashion. I don't know, this is kind of a rough pick. Oh yeah, this actually, I forgot, he doesn't actually have green here if his lands, so we're definitely going to take Liliana. And if he doesn't draw green, we're going to be in a great spot. So we'll take Liliana. Yeah, until he draws a green land, this Tarmogoyf is a complete blank, so we shouldn't need to worry about it until that happens. Like, if he just plays Blackleaf Cliff, go, we're in a decent spot, because we can control when we deploy our young Pyromancer to get value. We'll probably, like, wait till turn 3, and sweet, we drew a Terminate to take care of Tarmogoyf when that comes down. I think here our play is just going to be land go for a couple reasons. One, we want to put this Pyromancer into play on turn 3 so we can play young Pyromancer into Faithless Looting and get a token. Ooh, he did draw a green source. That's annoying. I don't think we're going to crack our land here. We just want to try to increase our probability to draw more land. Ooh, that's pretty good. Yeah, we'll definitely Thoughtseize here. Let's see what he has going on. Colgan's Command. That's really annoying. That's a 2-for-1. Easy 2-for-1 too. We'll take away the Colgan's Command here, because it's just going to 2-for-1 us if we don't. We can just deal with the Tarmogoyf relatively easily. Yes, Tarmogoyf, Swamp, Lightning Bolt, Lightning Bolt. Do we want to cast Faithless Looting here? I think the answer is yes, because next turn we're not going to have the mana to cast it. We're just going to be casting a young Pyromancer and a follow-up if we can. So yeah, let's do this. Unfortunately, we should have probably Manamorphosed before Thoughtseizing, just to get this Manamorphose out of our hand. Yeah. I don't know, actually. I think I like all these cards in our hand, so I think we won't actually Faithless Looting. That's fine. He'll just play Tarmogoyf pass, and he drew another land, too, so there's Tarmogoyf. Now here I will fetch for the Sacred Foundry, just to not take as much damage as we need to. Alright. So here I'm going to Manamorphose, and then I'll Manamorphose Black-Red, and then what's it called, cast Terminate. Doing this main phase, so if I draw a land, we can play it. Did not draw land. That's fine though. So now he's probably going to attack with his Raging Ravine for 4. That's fine. If he does this, this means we get to cast Lingering Souls and hopefully take a get a token from it, which would just be great for us. If we draw a land here, we don't draw a land. Costs 4 right now. Well, that's unfortunate. I think here we should Faithless Looting and hope to find some lands. We really need to find a Fatal Push for this We have so many cards right now, we just need to be able to stop the bleeding from this Raging Ravine. And remember, we can't take damage next turn because if we do, we just get double lightning bolted out. We're an effective 5 life right now, and this will attack for 5 next turn. So we're in a somewhat precarious position right now. I think our best draw is Fatal Push, but we're going to really need an answer for this Raging Ravine quickly. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the graveyard after this. So we could discard a Kolaghan's Command, and if we draw a land, cast this Reveler. That is an option, but doesn't seem to be like our best use of our mana. Dreadbore is not Terminate, not instant speed, which is a huge problem for us right here. This kind of sucks. So we're definitely, after this Faithless Suiting, casting Inquisition of Kozilek, taking away one of his lightning bolts here. The question is, what else do we discard? I'm pretty sure we're not casting Kolaghan's Command this game. It's just not how the game is shaken out. So we're going to have to discard that. Reveler probably is going to be kept in our hand, so I think we will discard the Inquisition and Kolaghan's Command, because we're not going to need that second Inquisition most likely. Actually, let's discard this young Pyromancer. We're almost certainly not needing it as well. There's a chance that we could like Inquisition again next turn. Let's see, take a lightning bolt. Plays land. Fetches. So we really do need to be able to draw a land this next turn, because if we don't, we're in a very bad spot. Ugh. So here our only play to stay alive is cast Reveler and Chump Block. Because he can bolt the young Pyromancer and attack, but he cannot bolt the Reveler and attack it. So we're actually in a bad spot here because we just have not been able to stabilize from this. Okay, he cast Lightning Bolt on us. That's fine. I hope that means there's no another Lightning Bolt coming. Alright, we still haven't drawn land. Let's see if he's got another Lightning Bolt. He's just got a Scavenging Ooze. That's not great for us. And a Dark Confidant. That wasn't great. So he's going to grow his Scavenging Ooze to a 4/4, presumably. See no reason why he wouldn't want to do that right now. We have drawn pretty poorly this game. Fortunately now, we can hold up Lightning Bolt for his Scavenging Ooze. But yeah, this is pretty bad. So we'll hold up Lightning Bolt in case he activates Scavenging Ooze. He would have to misplay to lose this game from this spot. If he activates it here, we get to Lightning Bolt his Scavenging Ooze. And that actually keeps us alive. That's very good for us. Now we get to stay alive, because we can still chump block his Raging Ravine, but his Dark Confidant is in play right now, so it's also pretty bad. He reveals Kitchen Finks. We are in a terrible spot. That's really bad for us. Nihil Spellbomb. It's not too bad. Could have been much worse. Looks like he's not attacking this turn again, which is great for us. We might actually get to use this Inquisition of Kozilek. Yeah, we're going to get rid of his Kitchen Finks with our Inquisition, which is pretty great, actually. It's not pretty good to draw that. Our draws have been pretty poor this game, unfortunately. So now if he just attacks with all three of his creatures, he will win. Gets another Raging Ravine. Although he doesn't really have to risk it. This is an interesting play here. We'll make the play that keeps us alive. Not sure why he didn't attack with the Ravine, but now we're at 1. Cast a Lilian. That's why he gets to plus on our Bedlam Reveler and kill it. So where we need, I don't really think there's any outs for us, but we'll take a look. That's a pretty good one, but it's not good enough. So you can plus on one of our tokens, and then he can just attack with both. I don't know. We'll see if he just doesn't do it. Collective Brutality. That also just ends the game. Alright. Well, that was a very disheartening game because it felt like we were in such control in the early game, but we didn't actually draw enough lands to take advantage and stabilize. So that was pretty rough. I think on the play we're going to cut a Faithless Suiting and bring in a Molten Rain, just because we don't want that much card disadvantage on the play. This is a really clunky hand. We're going to have to mulligan this. It's too many lands. This is also a really clunky hand. Ugh. I do like keeping 1 landers against decks with Inquisition of Kozilek and Thoughtseize though, just because if you just draw 1 or 2 lands and you have so many spells, you will kind of overwhelm them with cards. So we'll keep this and hope to scry land under the top, and we do. This is going to play tapped. Say go. So beautiful. The question is what to do next turn. I think there's a good chance we cast Collective Brutality next turn, but that might not be correct either. Let's see what if he's probably gonna Thoughtseize or Inquisition here. No, a Nihil Spellbomb. Sure, that's fine. So I think here what to do here? We could Collective Brutality, make him discard.
That's probably fine. Collective Brutality, make him discard a card. Don't expose our Pyromancer quite yet. Problem is, if he's got a Dark Confidant, that'd be very bad for us. So I think we actually should just run out this young Pyromancer, make him waste a removal spell, and then assess from there. We're going to search Black-Red here, because we don't have Blood Moon in our deck anymore. So we understand this is probably going to get removed this turn. If it doesn't, we're in a decent spot. It means he has a... Wow. That's interesting. Doesn't have a removal spell. It means he probably has Lightning Bolts, but probably doesn't have anything else. Here I like playing Collective Brutality, making him discard an instant or sorcery card with the intention of trying to take a Lightning Bolt from his hand. That seems like a card he probably has in his hand. So we'll get our value in and do that. If he's only got one Lightning Bolt, we're in a great spot here. So he does have multiple ways of dealing with young Pyromancer. Grimflare, huh? I like taking away Kolaghan's Command because it's a 2-for-1 that he can use next turn. His next turn will probably be Tarmogoyf for Grimflare plus Lightning Bolt. There's not much we can do about that. I think Kolaghan's Command is just the one to take because it's always going to be 2-for-1. Lightning Bolts, Tarmogoyfs, or Grimflares. Grimflares. We have Fatal Push. He's got 2 card types. Here, I think the best use of our mana is cast this young Pyromancer and hope to either trade with a Terminate or trade with Grimflare. I think if we ever are able to resolve these Lingering Souls, we're just going to be very far ahead in this game. But we'll see. We'll see what he does. He certainly could Terminate here and just take care of it that way. I'd be fine if he terminated here. In this spot, I think we will block with our young Pyromancer, just to deprive him of So let's just make sure here. If he sacrifices this artifact, he goes up to 3 card types. There's no way for him to put a sorcery into the graveyard at instant speed, or a creature for that matter. So we will block here and force him to use Terminate. He'll still get to get his Grimflare activation if he does this, but that's fine. We're going to force him to do this right now. It means that he can't commit any more to the board by casting the Tarmogoyf this turn, so this is fine. It's not, what's it called? Interesting, so he keeps all 3 cards on top. Lightning Bolt. Now that is a great one, because this means we can Lightning Bolt Grim Flare, and then Fatal Push Tarmogoyf. Seems like the thing to do. I will just Lightning Bolt right now, because I just want it to be gone right now. Sweet. So if we ever draw a third land, we're going to be in a great shape with this Lingering Souls here. Like just casting Lingering Souls for the rest of the game should be a great thing to have, unless he draws the, what's it called, the Maelstrom Pulse to deal with all of our tokens. So we'll be kind of cognizant of that moving forward. Like, make sure we don't put too many spirit tokens into play for Lingering Souls to blow us out with, but right now we're in a great spot. And we're also going to start building our graveyard back up for this Bedlam Reveler. So, if he casts Tarmogoyf, we're just going to Fatal Push it. He's one land away with this Raging Ravine, but we should be able to chump block it long enough if we have these guys. So, we're really hoping to draw land for this Lingering Souls. If we don't, we're in a somewhat bad spot. Liliana, the Last Hope. That is a very bad one for us. That is a card we did not want to see. Well, this is bad. That is one of the worst possible draws. Both of these cards are huge problems for us. Although I think we're going to target Tarmogoyf here because we have more ways to deal with this Dark Confidant. Ugh. Yeah, we're almost certainly losing to this Liliana, the Last Hope Ultimate. Reveals Anger of the Gods, that's also pretty bad. Means our tokens are less likely to be able to be relevant. Yeah, this seems to be far too little, far too late for this third land here on turn 8. We'll cast Lingering Souls. It's probably not going to be good enough. Ooh, by him heating that Bloodbraid Elf, there's a chance now we could like burn him out. We're not going to block here. Like, I think our best chance to win this game is by burning him out with his Dark Confidant. So we're going to hope to burn him out with Dark Confidant trigger and like Kolaghan's Command dealing 2 damage to him. So if he hits like another Bloodbraid Elf, that's no longer an option here. This is -7, so we almost kind of have to, what's it called, cast this on the Leon Last Hope just to remain in the game. So let's do that. Otherwise, he ultimates and we're in a miserable position. So we have to do this or else he ultimates. So we'll do this. Discards another Anger of the Gods. Here he's going to cast Bloodbraid Elf. Oh, that's pretty miserable. Don't think there's any chance here for us. You should definitely attack with this. Ooh. How can we win this game? Well, I think we're going to cast Lingering Souls and say go. I don't really think there's many avenues of winning this game. If we had dealt 2 to him, we could put him down to 2. But we'd have to survive the turn, and I don't think that's possible. Down to 4. Another Tarmogoyf. Is there any way we can stay alive next turn? That's not a way to stay alive. Well, that was unfortunate. I feel like game 2 kind of slipped away, but not a whole lot I could do about it. Alright.